So tell me, because there may be folks listening also, red states, maybe blue cities and red states.
Yeah.
And they're like, why would I bother, right? Why would I go to the state capitol, be in a super minority? Maybe I can vote no. Maybe there's a few things to find. But you're a talented guy. You can do any number of things. What keeps you in the fight?
What keeps me in the fight is, I have people in Ohio that I love who rely on me. And that's just not just my family, that's my friends. Those are people, community leaders, community residents who tell me every day that even though it is a bleak environment, that they're inspired by the fact that I show up and I show out and I'm an effective legislator. I also love people. I think about one of my favorite quotes is by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of my dear Alpha brothers. He says, to serve, you only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And if I love people enough, I have to fight for them. I have to see their humanity. I have to be responsive to that humanity and ultimately put forth a bold vision for that's rooted in love, right? And I always tell people, if you love someone, it's not just loving them. It's about how do we create legislation that showcases in real time that we love them. Right. And so I think about the work I do like a love letter to Ohio. Right. It's about really thinking strategically about how I see this place, this state, and where we can go with the right people. And then hopefully through that love letter, right, we get a lot of other folks who say, you know what, I love this state too. I want to show up and run for office. I want to think about how I get involved at the school board level, at the city council level, at the county level, state level, and even the federal level, right? So that love is not just with one body, it's with all of us kind of trying to do our best to move the state forward. If I can do that in my little small circle of influence, and everyone decides to do that, as well, man, the state of Ohio will look completely different in a matter of seconds, in my belief.
How does that message of love resonate and expand in a world where algorithms optimize for controversy, fear, rage, all those things?
It's interesting. I just had a town hall, and I think people are tired. They're tired of the divisiveness. They're tired of feeling like there's no hope, right? But in their world, they are the hope. Right? In their world, they're working hard for their families. They're trying their best, and they just want to be seen by their government. And and me saying that out loud, like, hey, I love you. Like, I'm fighting for you every single day. It's energetic. I think it's now I can't speak to social media. Unfortunately, social media is not people. Let me say that. It is very much a system. And it is curated to maximize a particular viewership, and unfortunately, what we know is controversy breeds viewership, and so I can't change that. That is the system that needs to be changed. But what I try to do is change hearts and minds who meet me, who see me for the very first time, who have never been to the State House, and they say, "Wow, I didn't even recognize that." What you do impacts my lived experience in the state. And so I just try to, show up as my best self for my constituents. And hopefully those encounters plant the seeds or ripples, if you will, of hope to say, wow, how do I get involved? Because there needs to be more yous out there. And so that's really how I navigate the world. I don't have a lot of time in this space. I only get 8 years. I'm term limited. And so I have about 3 more years left. If you don't include this year, this year's almost done. And so within that 3 years, I have to do some incredible things for my constituents. And then hopefully when I move on, the person who comes after me is going to continue the work, right? And so that's how I look at this space. I can't change artificial systems. They're created to be how they're created. What I can change is people, and to make them feel connected to government in a way that they've never been before.